So I'm going to go now to the Wikispaces. Let's see. Like Wikispaces.com, and they have a special area for teachers who want to create their own. I'm already signed in, so let's see. Let me go through this completely for you.
Actually, I have a question.
Sure.
Debbie Jacoby, who's also on the line, sent me a link to a TED Talk by an Indian educator whose name is Sugata Mitra. Is anybody familiar with it? Have you ever heard of it? Him? He has something called Hole in the Wall, the Hole in the Wall Project.
Tell us more.
So, basically, he set up in a very, very, very poor section of Calcutta a computer screen and access to the web, and basically it was securely built in a hole in the wall, literally, and he left this computer for the kids to play with, the neighborhood kids, and they instantly started, surfing through the web and building, recording music and recording a story about a butterfly or a bumblebee. I don't remember exactly what, but they started constructing their own learning, and he thought, oh, this is interesting, so he's taken it around the world to different places, middle-class classrooms in Great Britain and Italy, and done different kinds of experiments, and basically his hypothesis, or what he's kind of convinced that's happening, is that if left alone with the appropriate technology, kids will learn what they are interested in learning, and they might have some, okay, there he is. The talk he's on the right-hand side of your screen where you see him, Dr. Sugata Mitra, he's wearing that one is from a few years ago. There's a more recent one that I think he spoke about in either August or September at a more recent TED Talk. Yes, I believe that's it. And, Debbie sent this to me a couple of weeks ago. I've watched it twice. I'm completely fascinated by the whole big idea that kids will learn what they need to learn if kind of left to their own devices and are allowed to work collaboratively in groups. So yeah, this one is a little older. I think this one is from 2007, the one that you have up on the screen right now. But he probably does the same thing. Yeah, it says speaking at LIFT in 2007. So there's a more recent one from just a couple of months ago, but it doesn't really matter. I suppose you can find it. But what I'm asking is, I've been just kind of open-jawed, with all of the resources that Karen and Jenny have shown us, and wikis and smartboards and all of the equipment, and I guess I want to take a couple of steps back and say, what does it mean that we have this evidence of the way kids are learning? What does it mean to our whole, the way we're set up, the way we have classrooms and teachers? And I wonder if people have been thinking about that.
Well, I'll jump in first. That's a really awesome question, and I'm sure that's not one we're going to answer in the next 5 minutes. That is one of the big questions that's sort of at the meta level, not just the practical concerns of what are the tools and how do we use them, but what are the implications. And another resource that I would refer you all to is Jesna's JE3 project, which is coming out of our Lippmann Camphor Institute, which I think some of you are familiar with. I'll bring you there right now. JE3 is a little shorthand for Jewish Education 3.0, and it really addresses some of these big questions so you can now see the screen on the left-hand side where it says Our Core Narrative. That is a fairly long document that I would encourage you all to read later when you have free time, really looking at the whole landscape of how this new social and digital technology is transforming the landscape of education generally and Jewish education specifically, and what it means as it continues to unfold. There's a lot of great resources on this page. Because, one of the dangers of this kind of technology is that you can't see the forest for the trees, as they say. People get caught up in the idea of wanting the newest, shiniest tools, but forgetting that at the end of the day you still have to have content. That is not changing. And the idea is still getting the content to the kids.
This is Lisa. Can I just respond to that as well, which I think is a really important question?
Yes.
I think that one of the things that your example of this hole in the wall illustrates is that kids are inherently curious, and they want to learn. And they want to learn together, right? The image of those kids, it's not like one kid playing alone at the computer at the hole in the wall. It's a bunch of kids gathered around doing it together. It's inherently social. And I think the mistake that we make in Jewish education is that it requires kids being in a classroom sitting at a desk facing the front of the room. Now, that may be an exaggeration of what's happening in your classroom, but I think the opportunity that technology gives us is not to stick one kid in front of one computer and have them drill something. It's to open it up. And that means opening up the walls of the classroom, so giving them opportunities to do and think and play and expand and search and explore on their own time, but maybe in a guided way. And also to remember that parents are also one of your core audiences, because parents and kids can learn and explore together. So some of what you might be doing online is actually putting links or tools or discussion points or activity ideas in the hands of parents, whether those activities are happening online or not. One example from our work, and they're all over the place, but one example is a blog from a school where some of the posts are just ideas of what parents can be doing with kids for Jewish holidays or just Jewishly in general, or adding Jewish consciousness to the things that they do every day. And so in that way, you're putting the tools in the hands of the parents to be doing it with their own kids at home, and in many ways I think that's even more powerful for the child and for the family as well.
I'm really, really glad that you said everything that you just said, because this whole idea of getting lost in the trees and not being able to see the forest, the rate at which the technology is changing is so phenomenal that the question that Walter raised earlier, like what's better, a Mimeo or a smartboard or whatever, and how much does it cost, by the time I would be able to learn how to do it, I think somebody said it took, there were 10 hours of training. The next generation of those things is going to be available. Whereas what you were just saying, Lisa, is that when we go meta, it kind of changes the whole way that if we believe that learning is a social activity that children want to do with their friends and peers and in their families, then it changes the role of the teacher, and it changes kind of everything that we have, all of our structures, all of our, our infrastructure, our institutional infrastructure. It's we kind of have to rethink that before we get lost in ordering the next, the next tool.